how I made this stuffed chicken Florentine with mashed potatoes and white cheese sauce. Just keep watching. And so, hello everyone, we're just gonna get right into it. So here I have already put some water in a bag. As you can see, I already flattened some chicken, and so we're just gonna put another one in there. And the reason why I have the water is to keep the chicken from tearing while I flatten it. So we're just going to lay that flat on a flat surface. Make sure there's no air in there. Close it up, and then we're just going to take the flat end of our meat tenderizer and we're going to flatten the chicken as much as we possibly can. Be careful not to flatten it too much, and when you're pounding it, don't pound it too hard, because that tends to be another reason why the chicken would tear, is if you pound it too hard and if you pound it too much. So we don't want that, so please make sure you don't pound it too much. Don't get a little excessive, going crazy. Make sure you don't take any of your anger issues out on this chicken. Not today, anyways. So once we finish doing that, we are going to just set it aside. And so here I already previously flattened some chicken breasts, and so I'm just adding the other one to that plate. And so I'll do the other one and then I'll be right back. Alright everyone, so here we are. We cleaned our board and our knife. We got our Philadelphia cream cheese. We have some cut spinach leaves. And we have our shallot. We also have some sour cream. If you didn't know, sour cream is a really good source to use so the chicken doesn't become dry. So, first things first, we are going to cut our shallot first. Let me adjust this camera for you guys. Sorry about that. Doesn't seem to want to work. There we go. Sorry about that. So, we are going to cut our shallot. I wasn't really sure when I was making this video if I wanted to use the whole shallot. However, I did end up using the whole shallot, just because they look big, but they're not that big. So we're just cutting the ends off, and we are going to dice this. We're going to slice them very thinly, and then we're going to dice them very small, just so that they're visible, but they're not too visible. And then also for taste and cooking preferences, you don't want it to take too long for the shallots to wither. So I'm just cutting up this one, making sure that they're very fine. Of course, be careful at this moment, because I don't know about you guys, but my knife is very sharp. Okay. Alright, so once we've got all our onions chopped up finely, we are going to go ahead and add them to a nice hot pot. Here I already have my skillet on medium, And so we're going to just throw those onions in there. Please, you guys, don't be like me trying to multitask. It helps if you're already everything just set aside and ready to go in, because I honestly was like not ready for this pot to start. It was like a cast iron skillet, and they get hot pretty fast, so I had to take it off the heat to avoid burning my onions to a crisp. But and let it in, the iron cool down a little bit. Um, Now we're gonna take our spinach, and I would say I really truly did add a cup of spinach. I did not do a cup and a half, and even me using the 1 cup of spinach, it was still too much. Like I had leftovers enough to do maybe 3 or 4 more chicken breasts. So a cup of spinach would be for me in my ideal, because the spinach is chopped up already. um, I would say if you're going to do a cup and a half or even a cup, then prepare to need more than 4 um, chicken breasts, and that's when once they're cut in half. So I'm saying like fillets of chicken, you'll need more than 4. And that's actually a good idea. Next time I do this one, maybe I'll just do the chicken breast fillets, flatten those out, and see how that turns out. Okay, so anyways, to my spinach mixture, I'm going to be adding some salt and pepper for now. Those are the only 2 things that I use to um, season my spinach. Sorry I didn't show you guys the pepper, but I really did put it down. I put it in there for sure. I put it in there. Okay, so we're gonna let that spinach cook until, because it was pre-frozen, I ended up having to let this cook a little bit longer because of it being in the freezer, and I didn't give it enough time to thaw out. But if you're using fresh spinach, you're going to just cook this until it is wilted. I'm also going to add a teaspoon of garlic. As well as with this mixture, I forgot to show you guys, but you can also add your mushrooms um, into this dish as well. I forgot to add mines in here, and so I ended up doing it at a later time. But for sure, do your mushrooms, your onions, your garlic, get those sauteed up, get them wilted, and then add your spinach as well, and then let your spinach cook until it is wilted as well. Alright, and so we're back. Our spinach is wilted. We have our strainer lined with our paper towel. You can see here. So we're going to take our spinach and place it into the strainer to be ready to relieve all the excess water from the spinach. It was easier for me to use the tongs. That's why I switched, because I was able to get more spinach out faster rather than using the wooden spoon that was not working for me at the moment. So make sure you get all the spinach out. We're going to go ahead. I was being greedy here that day, y'all. I wanted every single little piece of spinach out of it. I'm just kidding. So no. So once you have all the spinach out, I literally even went back with the wooden spoon and made sure that I got like every little piece. Watch this, guys. Look how greedy I am. Look. Okay, so we're done with that. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to take our spinach over to our table, and what I did was I placed a glass bowl underneath the strainer. I folded in the corners of the paper towel, and then I kind of like how they do cheese, like mozzarella cheese. If you guys know, they put it in there and they press it and get all the juices out. So that's kind of what we're doing here. We're going for that. And I'm just pre-pressing right now to show you guys what it's going to look like. You want water like that. It should look like that coming out. And of course, this was really hot, so I ended up using the spatula and just pressing all of the liquid out of the spinach. So we're going to go ahead and do that, make sure it's all out, and then we'll come back and show you how to put this mixture together. And there's the water. We'll come back and show you how to mix everything up. Alright, so I wanted to come and let you guys know, as far as with the spinach mixture, you're going to take the spinach out of the paper towel so that it can cool faster. And I just took it and separated it up a little bit to make that process go a little faster. I was on my way to school, so this had to be a very quick process for a couple of minutes. I let it rest for about 10 minutes while I patted my chicken dry, which is what we're going to start doing right now. I already took out one of the chicken breasts, so I'm just going to cut off these loose ends, and then I will be patting the chicken dry. So, okay, I know y'all saw my chicken. It was ripped a little bit, but honestly, I didn't half it as well as I wanted it to be. And so it was like when I cut it in half, I ended up not cutting all the way down to the bottom, and it was just a whole crazy mess. It wasn't too bad though when it came for stuffing, so next time for sure, I definitely think I'm going to use chicken fillets that are already cut into halves, because then that way I can just pound out the chicken breast and I don't have to cut it in half myself and then worry about not cutting it in a really good half. So, or that, or I really need to get another knife, which is probably, I need another knife. So we're just gonna go ahead and pat our chicken completely dry. We're going to start our mixture. I started off doing it in a separate bowl because um, the recipe calls for it to do in a separate bowl, but then I thought about it and I was like, well, no. So we're gonna go ahead and mix it with the warm spinach. It is not completely hot, it's warm now by this time. And so I went ahead and cut, I don't even know measurement wise. I believe just follow the measurements that I gave to you guys at the beginning of the video. I think it was a 1/4 cup or a half a cup. I'm not really sure. So, yeah, we went ahead and added the spinach. The recipe that I saw did not use sour cream. This is my own preference. I believe that sour cream and cream cheese were made for each other. Oh, and spinach, of course. Those three things, they literally go together like milk and honey. It's ridiculous. So I want to say a scoop, like a dollop, literally a dollop of sour cream. So inside of here, I decided to season the spinach because at this point, you are not going to do anything else as far as cooking with the spinach. This is going to be your stuffing for your chicken Florentine. And so you need to season it, do whatever you're going to do to it. I added about a tablespoon of all-purpose flour to my mixture. And so also a helpful hint, leave the sour cream out. If you're going to prepare for this meal, prepare, like completely compare, make sure um, your what is this stuff called? Cream cheese. Make sure that it is thawed out, left out for a while, so that when it comes to this part that I'm doing, it won't take too long to mix everything up. So at this point, I was trying to add my mushrooms because remember I told you guys I didn't put it in the mixture ahead of time, and so I ended up having to put it into the mixture later on. And basically all I did is I sauteed them and got them very how do you not slice them, I diced them, and I put them in the pan and let them saute for a little bit. I wanted them to get soft enough so that I could, you know, throw them on into the mixture. So that's what I'm doing. So we're just going to keep mixing, 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 and then you'll see me later on add the mushrooms. Okay, so now here we are to the fun part. I had a little bit of breadcrumbs, you guys, like a little bit. And so, I honestly, when I started the recipe, I didn't know that I only had a little bit. I literally thought I had enough for the recipe. So, yeah, that was a bummer. But either way, it was fine. So, I took what breadcrumbs I had, but you guys can use the breadcrumbs that is on for the recipe. And I took, I want to say not even a fourth, half of a 1/4 of a table of butter, like some melted butter. And I went ahead and mixed that up with a spoon first, of course, and then I used my hand just to break it up so it will be um, crummy. I guess that's a word you could use for that. I'm not really sure. Um, Either way, I mixed all of that up, and once it was to the consistency that I wanted, which is like crumbs, um, I went ahead and began to season my chicken. My chicken, y'all. My chicken. The seasoning that I'm using there, you can find it at Fry's has it for sure, and of course any food city, El Super, that's here in Arizona. I don't know about anyone else, but I can say any Mexican stores that you go to that sell Mexican food, they should have that seasoning because that's the seasoning that they use on their chickens when they fry it for you. Um, so yeah, I did that front to back, rubbed it in. You guys see how the seasoning sticks to the chicken because the chicken is dried out. So next I took some Parmesan cheese. I'm gonna say a cup of grated Parmesan. I mixed that in with the breadcrumbs and butter. So it's kind of like a Parmesan crusted stuffed chicken Florentine with mashed potatoes and white cheese. That's a lot. So that's why I didn't put the Parmesan crusted part. But this is the part that you're going to roll the chicken in so that it has that good crust. So I'm also seasoning with some ginger. I'm seasoning my, what are those things called? Breadcrumbs and Parmesan cheese. Got some Italian seasoning, some ginger, and some uh, black pepper and parsley. Alright, so here we are. We have our spinach mixture. We have our Parmesan crusts. And we also have our egg and our seasoned chicken. we are going to get ready to assemble this chicken. It is going to be the best thing you guys have ever tasted. So, skin side down, I am going to take the mixture in scoops, and I'm going to spread it not thin. I'm not spreading it thin. I'm spreading it so that it'll be as flat as the chicken is. But it's pretty stuffed. So we're just spreading that on in there. Make sure you get all the way. You don't want the ends, but just, y'all just spread it good, okay? So just gonna do that. Like I said, you don't want it to be at the ends because those are the parts we're gonna close. I'm just gonna show you guys one first. So I'm rolling it up just like so. I'm gonna take one of my toothpicks, or however many you're gonna need, turning it over, and I'm gonna make sure I'm going to do it like a suture, or if you know how to sew, like you're sewing, so down, up, down, up, down, up, all the way to the end. I wanted to put some on the sides because it was open and I really didn't want that mixture to come out, so I did put some on the side to keep it closed on both sides. Once this chicken is cooked, you can take the toothpicks out before you slice them. It's really up to you, but honestly, I'd take them out before I started slicing and dicing. So once we do that, we are going to just set that to the side, and we're going to do all three of them just the way that I showed you. So we'll go ahead and do another one where you can see me do it, and then I'll speed it up so that we can get through this video pretty quickly. Alright everyone, so after you have finished with your chicken, go ahead and put it into your pan, put it into the oven, set your oven for 425, and go ahead and put it in the oven for 15 to 20 minutes, and it should be perfectly fine, or you can do until the crust is brown. Also, I went ahead and paired mine with the garlic herb mashed potatoes. It was cheat day, y'all, so we used this for the pair as far as the sides, and as well as a nice and delicious white cheese sauce. I just used the white cooking wine with some onions and heavy whipping cream, as well as some Parmesan cheese, and I put that on the top. And it was so good. The kids loved it. My husband loved it. It was a really good dish. So if you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did making it, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comments if you guys went ahead and decided to make this dish. And if you did, leave the pictures on how it came out. And as well as if you want to see anything else, any of the DIYs, any other cooking projects. I am brand new to this whole thing, so you guys bear with me with the quality of the video and all that good stuff, but I definitely enjoy making this video. I hope that you guys will continue to stay with me. Again, like my video, subscribe to my channel if you guys want to see more. Peace and love, and I will see you guys later. Bye.